morning, everyone. This is Mark and Linda from the Freedom and Virtue Institute, and we're going to show you how to bake chocolate chip cookies today. The recipe that I'm going to show you right now makes somewhere around 40 or 50 cookies. We like to make a large batch so that we can either freeze some cookie dough or we can freeze the baked cookies afterwards if we have enough time to bake them all up front. Here's the recipe that we're going to be using. As you can see on the top, we see the ingredients with the amounts of each, and underneath the method that we will use to make the cookie dough and then to cook the cookies. The ingredients we have out for you, just to show you, are butter that has been softened. Usually if we take this directly out of the fridge, we'd put it in the microwave for about 15 seconds to soften it. White granulated sugar, brown sugar, some vanilla, 2 eggs, flour, baking soda, salt, and of course chocolate chips. And so now, without further ado, we're going to move these ingredients out of the way and begin to bake the cookies so that you will see how it is done and be able to do it yourself very easily. This is a very easy recipe. I'm going to pass you over now to Miss Linda, who will explain what she's doing as she goes, and I'll assist.
Alright, we're going to start off with the first thing we must do always is wash our hands. So I will get Mr. Mark to wash his hands also so that we are all nice and clean, ready to start. And then our recipe calls for us to turn the oven on to 350 degrees Fahrenheit so that when we have finished preparing our cookies, the cookie dough ready to go in the oven will be hot. Now we're going to start by creaming the butter and the sugar. We need a cup of butter. Now if you have a look on your sticks of butter, it has measurements on it. It also tell you that this is half a cup. So 2 of these will make a full cup. So we will put that into our bowl. That is half a cup. This one is another half cup. That will make a full cup. This butter has already been softened, so it's going to make it a little easier for
It'll be a little easier to cream it being soft.
Now we need 3/4 of a cup of white sugar, and here is my measuring cup. So we're going to measure 3/4 of a cup.
Three-quarters of a cup of white granulated sugar.
And in it
goes directly into the bowl with the butter. And now the brown sugar.
The brown sugar is 1 cup. Now I'm using half a cup here. I'm going to do it twice, simply because it doesn't, full cup doesn't fit into my container here. Now when you measure, you can use a knife. Measure it off, make sure it's flat, because if it's got a little mountain over the top, it's going to be more than your measurement that you require.
So now we have the 2 sticks of butter making 1 cup.
And now we're going to stir it all up. We're going to cream it. Now creaming means that we're going to mix it until it becomes a creamy mixture. You will notice that the mixture will also become a little lighter in colour. Now I'm going to use my spatula here, which will help to get it off my spoon.
So today Miss Linda is creaming by hand using a wooden spoon, but you can do this creaming other ways. For example, if you have a mixer at your disposal in your home and in your kitchen, you could be doing that using this mixture. But not everybody has a mixture, and so we're showing you that it is just as easy to make the cookies by mixing or creaming them in by hand, as we're showing here.
The butter and sugar is all mixed together. Now the brown sugar makes it a little darker.
So that's a nicely creamed mixture of butter and sugar right there. Now
we're going to add the vanilla. Now we require a tablespoon of vanilla. I have my measuring tablespoon here. And we have 2 eggs. Now we just need to mix those 2 ingredients in.
And once again, you could be using a kitchen mixer if you prefer, but you can use this old mixing method by hand. Not so much cleanup to do later.
Now we need our flour, our baking soda, and our salt. Now our flour, we need 3 cups of flour. Now I'm going to use my half a cup, simply because a cup doesn't fit into my container here. So that is half a cup. 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5. That is 3 cups.
The next thing is the baking soda.
And the baking soda is 3/4 of a cup. Now this is where you'll probably do a little bit of math.
Not 3/4 of a cup, Miss Linda.
I made a mistake, 3/4 of a teaspoon. So I'm going to do half a teaspoon. Oops, it's got a little lump in it. Half a teaspoon, and then I'm going to do 1/4 of a teaspoon. So that makes 3/4. And our salt, once again, is exactly the same. 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt.
So start with a half teaspoon measure, which of course is 2/4, and 1 more quarter makes 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And now all of that is folded in, is mixed in. And be careful with the beginning of the mixing while the flour is still light and dry, because it can fly all over the place and end up mostly on your bench. So in the beginning, just gently mix it in like this so that it doesn't come out over the top. And once you get all the flour involved in the mixture, then you can mix more vigorously without worrying about the flour flying all over the kitchen.
It is. It's going to get stiffer and stiffer. But that is good. Oh, my oven is already preheated.
We just heard the beep of the oven telling us that it is ready now at the required temperature of 350 degrees Fahrenheit. It is preheated and ready for cookies to be placed inside. But we're not quite ready. We have 1 or 2 more ingredients yet to add. We have vanilla and we have the chocolate chips.
The most important ingredient is our chocolate chips. Now we need 3 whole cups of chocolate chips. So they are our last. So there's 1.
That's a half a cup, right?
That's 1 cup.
Okay.
I've switched over to the whole cup one. 2. 3 cups. That's a lot of chocolate chips.
I don't think you put the vanilla in.
Yes, I did. Vanilla went in with the eggs.
Okay.
Yeah. We got lots of vanilla in there.
I was just checking with Miss Linda that the vanilla had been incorporated. So now all of the ingredients are in the bowl.
Oops.
And it's just a matter of making a uniform mixture of this now.
This takes a little muscle.
And your arm could get a little tired here, or if you have a friend with you when you're cooking these, you could perhaps share the mixing duties. And perhaps I'll come over and do some mixing right now so Miss Linda can get the baking trays ready and tell you a little bit about what they are and whether they need to be greased or not and all of those things.
No, this recipe does not require the tray to be greased prior to going on the actual oven tray. If the recipe does require you to have it greased, it will tell you in the methods. Now this is the baking tray that I'm going to use. Oh, it's getting stiff. Looks pretty good.
Looks fairly uniform now, so I think you could start.
It's ready for the oven.
Now on the method you will see that we say there that you could roll portions of this dough into little balls that are about 1 1/4 inches in diameter. Miss Linda will start doing that and show you what's meant by that, and then afterwards she has a quicker way of doing it really. Once she sees the size that she wants, she can directly spoon it onto the tray.
Now, I have made this recipe many times, so I have found it quick and easy. Now here's quick and easy to do it with a spoon. Now there's well, that may be a little more than 1 1/4. Your hands get very messy too if you're rolling them. So I find I just take a spoon, this is a dessert spoon, and I just spoon it directly onto the
Just
tray.
one other thing, while Miss Linda's putting these on the tray, you do want to have space between your pieces of cookie dough because they're going to flatten out as they cook. And if you don't leave 2 inches or so between each of the pieces of cookie dough, then they are going to fuse together in the oven and you'll have to cut them apart. And so you'll see Miss Linda now is leaving plenty of space between the cookies so that they can flatten out and not fuse together in the oven.
I have found that on my particular cookie sheet that if I do 4 down each side and then kind of in the middle, and the spaces in here, each one, I can get another 3 cookies in there. So I'm going to put this one in the oven.
These cookies go in the oven for up to 12 minutes. So Miss Linda's setting the timer right now. 12 minutes.
I have another tray sitting here. So I will get another one ready. So as soon as the other one comes out, this one can come in. And then I will switch it over until all my cookies are done. Now this time we have chosen, instead of freezing some of the dough, we are going to cook them all, and then we're going to freeze some of the cooked cookies for a later time.
We've done this many times before and it works very well. The cookies still have the same consistency and flavor when they come out of the freezer. But if you prefer, you could maybe roll some of this cookie dough into an elongated roll that you could just and then put some wax paper around it, put it in a freezer bag. Now you've only put 3 cookies down each row because this is a smaller tray than the first one that went in the oven. Okay, and now we can put this tray in the oven, and note that it is a couple of minutes behind the other one.
Also, I have a wire rack here, which when they come out of my oven, I'm going to put them on there so that they can cool. Now, Mr. Mark likes his cookies hard. I tend to like them a little softer. So what I sometimes do is the last tray that goes in the oven, I leave them in there a little longer. Sometimes I turn the oven off and just let them harden up for him so that he has this nice hard cookies. So now we just have to wait until our cookies come out of the oven.
Well, why don't we put a second tray in? Can you do that at the same time? It's now 3 minutes later.
I would rather leave that one there. Sometimes I do that. I do like to have one going in at a time. My other oven tray is way down the bottom and they will get burnt on the bottom. So,
Alright, so we're going to pause this video right now for about 9 minutes or 8 minutes, and just before they're due to come out of the oven, you can see there's another 9 minutes and 15 seconds. When they come out, we'll resume this video and show you what the cookies look like. Also, you'll note in your instructions that I'll put up here again that some ovens cook differently than others. There's different temperatures within the oven and different rows in the oven, different heights in the oven. So you will have to check the cookies after 12 minutes, and perhaps your cookies may need another minute or 2. You'll be able to determine that by looking at them after 12 minutes. So see right at number 8 there at the bottom, you'll see that explained, that at the end of 12 minutes have a look to see whether the cookies are properly baked, and cook for additional time if necessary, because not all ovens cook in the same way. Alright, so we'll pause here and we'll be back in a moment to show you the cookies as they come out of the oven. As you can see, our oven has just finished baking 12 minutes, so let's take a look and see how the cookies look. Are they cooked properly, Miss Linda, do you think?
I think they are.
Alright, so we know that 12 minutes in our oven works very well. So these are done. So Miss Linda's just put a second tray of cookies in the oven, and she's set the timer again for 12 minutes. And now we're going to show you how to put the cookies off of the tray onto a wire a top for airing and cooling.
Now don't forget, if you bring something hot out of the oven, I have a plastic sheet on here, so I don't want to put that directly on there or on your bench, so just be aware of that. Now these will be soft, so you can just use a spatula and just get them off very gently. You could leave them sit there for a couple. Whoops! I've messed one up already. It's probably better to let them just sit for a few minutes and they will harden up. Here we go.
The trick is to get your spatula properly underneath the cookie, and if it has a little lip on the end of it, as this one does, it can sometimes catch and break a cookie. So just now that they're cooled a bit, they're coming off more easily, you can see.
This one, I know Mr. Mark will eat off camera in a little bit when that one has cooled down. Now,
so what is this tray called, Miss Linda?
That's just a wire rack.
A wire rack,
cooling rack
for the cookies to cool. Okay, so we have we still have more dough, so Ms. Linda's just going to use this same baking tray to put out another batch, and they've been covered in the meantime while we've been waiting for the first batch to cook. So as we end this video today, I'll just tell you, as you watch Ms. Linda putting more cookies on the tray, that this video is coming to you today from the Freedom and Virtue Institute. We work with school students all over the country and even internationally now, and are making these videos available to all of the self-reliance clubs that we help to sponsor and that we have founded in Florida, Southwest Florida, and up in other states of our nation. And we also have 5 clubs in the Dominican Republic as of now, and we're looking to expand into other international venues. Look for us to come in Puerto Rico sometime in the near future. So these recipes that we will bring to you via video will be available to you on the Freedom and Virtue Institute's website. You can go there by typing fvinstitute.org. So there's the next tray of chocolate chip cookies ready. Watch out for more videos with more recipes and other arts and crafts that you can do. And what we are trying to promote here, as well as providing food for yourself, your family, and your friends, is that you might want to get entrepreneurial with this. This batch of dough that we just have made with the recipe that, again, I will show you, makes 40 to 50 cookies depending on the size that you put them on the tray as. And so there's opportunity here perhaps to put 6 of them in a little plastic bag with a little ribbon bow around the top and sell them, and you'll be able to generate some income for yourself. And similarly with the other recipes we put up on the Freedom and Virtue Institute's YouTube website, that will be made available to you probably at the bottom of the end of this video. And we will also have other things. We're thinking of making a video on how to make beeswax candles, and we'll bring that to you, and other arts and crafts as well. So watch out for those. Again, you can go to fvinstitute.org and explore the website, and watch out for other cooking coming to you from Miss Linda and Mark Wardell in the future. Enjoy your cookies, everyone, and we hope that you'll be back soon to visit for the next recipe that we'll put up.